Very warm welcome. Welcome back to Arunfoot. My name is Arunfoot Chaudhary. Welcome to another session of questions and answers, of course, latest on the Indian football transfer market, the latest, of course, on the Indian national football team. Maybe we'll also get to speak maybe on the Indian women's team and anything else that is connected to Indian football. So welcome back, guys, and look forward to it. Good evening, Ishan. Good Abend, Ishan. And I'm looking forward, as I said, to another hopefully insightful, interesting discussion. Questions can be thrown at me, and I will try and answer those. And let's wait and see what we will want to talk about tonight. Of course, when we come to talk about the transfer market, I think the biggest pieces of information of the day, of course, have been that Jitendra has left Jamshedpur and has gone to Chennai FC. So Chennai FC have announced their first confirmed transfer of the summer, which is Jitendra Singh. Jamshedpur FC joining them. Defensive midfielder, can also theoretically back up as a centre back. And for someone who's worked with Owen Coyle, has been part of that team which worked and developed for the Under-17 World Cup. And and therefore, that's the one, which of course is an interesting one to talk about. And sorry, guys. Sorry. Ishan, yes, good to hear that you missed it yesterday. Of course, yesterday I was away. I was watching a local football team play. And who was playing and therefore was there. Debrov, hi, welcome back. Hearing that there will be an Mbappe announcement in a few minutes. Let's wait and see. It's supposed to be happening today, maybe tomorrow. The next season Federation Cup format, same as FA Cup. Uday, there's been no information, no confirmation from the AFF in regard to the format of the Federation Cup, Super Cup, whatever we're going to call it. Next season, that's the first thing. The AFF wants to reactivate the Federation Cup and use that as our sort of FA Cup. And we'll have to just wait and see what the AFF does with that, as always. And looking forward to when the confirmation comes. I really hope that whatever our national cup competition will be next season, that it will be along the lines of a proper European sort of cup competition, rather not this group stage come knockout format which we've had in the Federation Cup as well as the Super Cup for many, many years. So let's wait and see what really happens in the next season. Ishan Madhwaj, your thoughts on the final? Disappointed because of Dortmund's loss, happy that Kroos leaves on a high. Toni Kroos would have left on a high this way or that way. I think that is something which was a given, right? I think as Dortmund fans, as people who sympathize with Dortmund around the finals, I would say, one should be disappointed because for 65, 70-minute Borussia Dortmund were clearly the better side. But if you don't score goals, football at the end of the day is very, very simple. Real Madrid, I think, is the prime example. You don't have to be the better team; you just need to score the goals. If you look at all their knockout matches this season, or even look at 2 years ago when they won it, were they always the better team? No, Real Madrid knows when to score goals and when to win matches. I think that's a mentality thing which won them, and Dortmund have had or still have a mentality issue. So therefore, congratulations, Real Madrid. But huge chance missed by Borussia Dortmund to lift their second Champions League title. What a first half show by Dortmund. Few unbelievable misses cost them dearly. Mainak, that's, I think, the big problem, I think, for Dortmund. Created some great chances, some great opportunities, but if you don't score goals, and that's the same thing with, that if you don't score whenever it's also needed, then you can't win matches, you can't win trophies. And I think was the biggest problem in that Champions League final, if you want to, digress a little to that. But again, um, let's see what happens next season. Again, interesting season. New format coming in, more of a league format. That's the other thing. I think Real Madrid has proven it again and again that this sort of group stage come knockout format, or even this pure format of knockouts earlier in the, that has sort of helped them, and let's see, that's something which is there. Renil, hi, welcome back. What's your hope Indian footy 24-25 season? I think it's not so much what happens on the field. My hopes and wishes are more about what happens off the field. I mean, the season, I thought, and I think that the most important stuff needs to happen off the field. Again, AFF contract with Reliance in regard to FSDL, is the contract going to be extended, which also then decides of the future. Will this be the last season of the ISL? That danger is really there. So I hope, therefore, that these issues, that these problems that are there between the AFF and FSDL are sorted and they can renew the contract, because I don't see anybody else coming forward and saying, listen, I'm going to put in money and try to, help you and grow Indian football. Hi Kumar, welcome back. Ishan Asif Mehta back in the camp. Yes, he is, as Monak also confirms, was away for a few days due to a personal issue. And now he's back in training again. Debra, why is there a physical collection of tickets in Kolkata such a problem for fans coming from different parts of India? Debra, it is a ruling made by the Bidhannagar police, and again, they've had this now for I don't know how many years, decades rather, and again, it's a police matter, and they have not been willing to change it, and therefore, it still is the way it is. Meaning that if you want to attend a match at the Salt Lake Stadium, you have to get that physical ticket from XYZ location. Mostly, of course, there are these booths around the Salt Lake Stadium where you can pick them up. So that's something which is there. Monak, after seeing 3 consecutive misses, I predicted in one of our WhatsApp group that Real Madrid is winning. Yeah, I mean, that's something which I thought at the halftime. I thought, this is not going to end well for Dortmund. You've had too many good chances, good quality chances. Just not saying that Dortmund had chances. Dortmund had quality chances. So from that standpoint, I think, yeah, Dortmund had their opportunities, but as I said earlier, if you don't score goals, that's at the end of it the most important thing. Be it Indian football, be it a Champions League final, be it World Cup qualifiers, all of these matches again, and that's something that you will in the future people will forget, right? The statistics which will remain is Real Madrid has won the Champions League 15 times. That's the piece of stat which stays, that they've won it 15 times. What Borussia Dortmund played, what Bayern or Man City played, or even others played in this, or what some of the teams did in the group stage, nobody cares about. So that's so let's wait and see what happens. And at the moment, things are the way they are, and let's hope that things do down the road get better. One thing, of course, not to forget, which I do once in a while. Those of you who haven't subscribed to arunfoot, please subscribe to the channel and like this video, share this video. Let's grow the community. Again, thank you very much for those of you. Last 2 days, of course, what I've done yesterday, I did a little piece on Mumbai City and my thoughts on Mumbai City in regard to why are they going in for a squad rebuild. So that's one of the things that I've done. And of course, Kabir Nath playing in Andorra, who I interviewed a few days ago. So that's that. Kumar, if our players do not perform well in the match against Kuwait, do players and not take any response to the performances? Kumar, it's something which you can't enforce on the players, to be very, very honest. So therefore, that's if someone wants to do it, let's say Sunil wants to do it after playing his final game, it is up to Sunil. It is up to the players, to the others to do it. I think that the environment is such at the moment that I think most of them do not want to do something like that. That's, I think, another problem that we have. So therefore, for me, it could be something that the players needs to do. But are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? I don't know. Dipan, hi, welcome back. Bidanagar police is the worst. They have always blocked ultra cultures in previous days. Kolkata police is way better. Dipan, that's a reality. And again, it's ultra culture is one thing, but we're not even talking about ultra cultures. We're talking about a basic thing like a ticket to enter a venue. So therefore, for me, I think that's the thing that one needs to consider, and go back to at how things are at the moment. So therefore, yeah, these are the realities of Indian football. If you like it, if I like it, or if anybody else likes it, as I said, that per se doesn't count. It is what it is, and it doesn't seem to be changing easily for good. So for me, that's something which is there as it is. Renu, is the Indigo deal a good one or just a mere PR? To me, it's a good deal because it reduces the costs of the AFF. Again, if the AFF had done it at the right time in the right way, as was envisaged by certain people, then maybe something could have been done. But again, that did not happen. So therefore, now you have the deal that you have. But again, the AFF will get concessions regarding the amount of tickets or the amount of cost that they're going to have on tickets via Indigo. Again, here and there, maybe a little bit of amenities, services, and whatever the other things maybe. So therefore, it's for the FF. It's yeah, it saves money. So therefore, anything which either brings money or saves money at the moment in the situation that the FF is in, or any other time actually, is good news. Period. I know that a lot of people are trying to create an agenda and trying to paint it in a bad light, but my understanding is, listen, this is something which has been done to try to make things better. Uh, 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 you know, so therefore, let's wait and see. And yeah, that's something which it is. Devan, do you think there is any problem in CF and Apple because of those? Because they organize everything in a very good way. Again, Dipan, I think to compare football organization with the organization of cricket in an Indian context, I think is totally different because, of course, there is private securities and other things involved in the IPL. So therefore, that comparison is very, very difficult. CFL doesn't have that high standards, to be honest, as has an ISL game or an international game. So that's the other thing. But again, it's very difficult because it's not only there, but it's other venues as well. The ticketing thing is something which Vidhannagar police is very, very strict about. And yeah, it's again, if you're right or wrong, I think it's wrong. You can do away with it, but again, they're not going to do it. And so therefore, you know, so therefore, it's not going to happen. Do you think Reliance should do something like Kochi League in Kerala by selecting some football hotspots, Kerala, for example, Malappuram, like the Nopang League? Really, the thing is, the Nopang League was the first idea. It was set up, and then Reliance came on board with it. So I think that is the way forward. So therefore, it is not something which is going to come from the Reliance side, but rather has to come from either a local organizer of the grassroots league, or it needs to come from, let's say, from the Kerala Football Association or from the local district association. So that's something which is there. Monarch, my friends shared their QR codes to collect tickets on behalf of them. There were tickets for 3 different stands. I had to stand in 3 different queues and ended up spending 1 hour during lunchtime. Well, that's bad luck for you. I hope next time you don't need to stand and your friends will stand in line, Monarch. But that's the reality of at the moment how things are. So that's where we sadly stand. Dipan, was the Under-17 World Cup under Vinanagar police? Yes, it was, and the rules were stricter than they are at the moment. I think they've become a little lax on certain rules. Certain rules they've kept from the Under-17 World Cup, but this whole ticketing thing is a speciality of theirs. So this is something which they have been doing now for donkey's years. I remember the IFA on day before or 2 days before a match used to go in for stamping of tickets, and then have to stamp tickets. They've had matches with over 100,000 people where they had to go in for stamping of tickets, right? And then so each individual ticket is checked by them. So therefore, that's something, which is I feel which is out of date. But again, it's still there from their side. So maybe things will hopefully, not maybe, I hope that in the future things will get easier, things will get better, because this is something which is which is a problem for the fans. As someone, as Monok just said, I mean, you have to go there during lunchtime and pick up tickets, three different counters around the stadium. Yeah, that's tiresome. So again, and I know the demand for tickets has also been there or is there. So that's something which I guess is positive for the match on Thursday. And yeah, let's hope for the best. That Sunil gets his perfect sort of farewell, but who knows how things are going to end up. But at the moment, I think the atmosphere around the game will be quite good. And again, let's hope that something good happens. René, do you think our scouting is outdated? We always choose bigger and stronger kids rather than technical ones at 10 or 11. René, I can't generalize. Some of these things with regard to scouting. The point is also, what are the scouts looking for in the kids, and what can they see? The problem is they see, a lot of them see, can we use them in the next age group or two age groups down the road? Is that then the physicality aspect normally comes in, because again, the smaller, the weaker kids don't get picked. So you have to see something. But the question is, with the scouts also, are you looking at when they're 13, 14, 15, or are you looking at when they're 22, 23? And that's something that the answer is, for me, is when you're scouting, you have to see some of the things that you could sort of envisage of seeing in that player maybe 10 years down the road. And that's something which, again, there are a lot of teams who are fighting for trophies at the under 13, under 15, and under 17 age group. So yeah, those are realities as things are. Have you seen Edmund's practice session videos? Yes, Aryan, I've seen those. Looks good. So therefore, yeah, let's wait and see how he develops. Again, after the national team assignments, Edmund is set to go to Canada to train for a few days with Atletico Ottawa. And if at Ottawa he can impress, maybe he can stay a little longer before the I-League season then continues for Inter Kashi for 24-25. So that would be a good one with a player like this, yeah. Japan, even flags and microphones, drums were not allowed earlier. Thank God, due to mobile management requested. Now we don't that. Thank God allows it. Yeah, I mean, I said, Dipan, all these things that you mentioned, if you see, there are old lists on the internet. If you search for them, prohibited items during the FIFA World Cup, under 17 World Cup, sorry, in Kolkata. The list is really extensive, and they have tried to keep those things in place because for them it makes life easier, because you tell the fans, listen, you're not allowed to take this, you're not allowed to take this, you're not allowed to take that. Very simple. You're not allowed to take an umbrella in, for example, right? So therefore, yeah, that's been the case, and let's see what it goes. Renan says, I've seen a buzz of excitement among fans now. Earlier, I still had to beg, but it seems the fan engagement is getting better now. I don't know if it's really there's more fan engagement or not. To be honest, really. If you see social media, we're talking about the same people who are talking about football all the time on social media. And I'm not talking about creators or others. That's a different area, different field. I'm saying who are talking on Twitter, for example, or these Facebook or WhatsApp groups or whatever, where people are being active. It's mostly the same people. So is it really more people who are being active, proactive, involved in the conversation? I don't know. I maybe you guys have a different it's something, yeah, that one has to see, and whatever happens. Amar Shaji, welcome back. Who is the player Blaster signed to? Did you know? I have a feeling, I have a hunch, but again, I don't like to speculate on these things. So therefore, let me not start this whole conversation. I know what kind of a discussion Marcus has started on the internet. Ishan, what's the environment like in Germany ahead of the Euros? Is it a festival like feeling? I think, Ishan, it's still a little away. 11 days, I know, sounds very little, but I think it'll slowly pick up next week. I know a few friends of mine are coming, looking forward to seeing some friends going maybe to the one or the other match. So therefore, yeah, looking forward to it. So therefore, let's wait and see. But it's going to pick up. I think it needs the 14th of June as a kickoff date, and therefore let's hope and see what happens around the Euros. I'm looking forward to it. Should be fun. And therefore, yeah, let's wait what happens really around the Euros. And I want to do some content. I mean, I've done a lot lately on Indian football. So guys, do let me know if you would like to see, and then of course share, of course, content in regard to the Euros, maybe a little bit of background on the tournament, on Germany, on the groups. That's something which I'm thinking about. Moinok, East Bengal is certainly having one of the worst scouting in ISL. They are going all out, man. ISL players with orbit amount of cash. Interesting, because Moinok, a lot of East Bengal fans will say they're very, very happy to see Diamantakos, Talal, Devjit, even Prabhat Lakra. So therefore they have sort of, they've been buying sort of the players they think they have to. But again, yes, you're right. There is no scouting in this. East Bengal and Mohun Bagan are now not clubs where you can risk young players in the sense, that you want proven talent. Once in a while, you're forced to throw in, let's say, an Abhishek Suryavanshi, and they'll do it. But normally they want proven talent, and that's something which you see over there. The and Dortmund fans are the best in the world. Have you seen that Piro? Just wow, in the UCL final. Yes, I saw it. And I don't say wow, because I see it from an organizational, from an operational standpoint. It is very dangerous. The way that whole wall of flares was burning, that's a dangerous thing. I'm someone of those, like it or not, I say pyros is not something which is supposed to be in a stadium. Sorry, it's not something that I like to see in stadiums. You can do your choreography, you can do other things. Pyro in that, one thing going wrong, you never know. One pyro burns on someone, you've got so many people around you, you never know what kind of a disaster could happen with pyro. So therefore, I am not a fan. For me, very clearly, pyro is not something which I want to see. Renal, the way DPDL organizing new tournaments in Bangalore, should they focus on the hotspots or try to spread the game? Renal, it's happening around India, right? I mean, some of them are more publicized. You've spoken about the Nopang League. You've now spoken the DPDL. Those are the more publicized leagues. You know more about them. There are other leagues happening around India which you and I don't even know about. So therefore, it's happening around India. Not everywhere, but it's happening in a lot of places. So therefore, some are better, some are worse. Some will produce results, some will not produce results. But let's wait and see what happens in the long run. Classic Gaming, hi, welcome back. How was this final for you? I mean, I've said it a few times today that I feel bad for Dortmund, because I feel that they had enough chances to win the game. I think they if you just one of the chances goes in, I don't know, in the first half, I don't think Real Madrid come back. So that's something which I guess Dortmund has to live with. So therefore, let's wait and see. Real Madrid 15 title, and then let's see. Amal says Jamshedpur need a rebuild. Yeah, looks like it. Any update on Komal Thattal? Is staying in Jamshedpur with Khalid? Classic Gaming, that would mean that first of all, Khalid first has to stay, and Komal Thattal will be very interesting to see if he stays or if he moves maybe to even a non-ISL team, because again, he's not played that much. That's something which is sort of the reality at the moment. Is there any update on our under-23 national team? Amal asks. No, there is no information, nothing which has been said. Aritra, well, Madrid winning 15, you say, what makes them get such a chance the closest to them? AC Milan with 7 and Bayern Liverpool with 6. It is that, again, they have one advantage. They won a lot of trophies in the 50s and 60s. That is a huge advantage. Most of the other teams that we talk about started their sort of winning campaigns in the 70s. So that's, they already had 5-6 trophies in that cupboard until the rest of them came up. And again, if you look at it, they had a phase 11 years not getting to the final, and then they've now won 6 in 11. That is very, very impressive, and therefore Real Madrid are. And again, they win matches which you don't normally win. This is not the first Champions League final that I guess they didn't deserve to win. They've had in the last few years Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, 2002, Bayer Leverkusen should have won the Champions League title. There are multiple ones where Real Madrid has turned around games where you would have said the other side would have most probably been more, it would have been better for the other side to win, but it doesn't happen. So therefore, they have 15 Champions League title, and a lot of them, like Leverkusen or Atletico, don't even have one. So that's the reality. Can we get some good OCI players and mix it with the Indian local time to produce results like an Iraq national team? OCI players depends on the government. Let's see tomorrow. If the old government stays or a new government comes in, and then maybe down the road it's a conversation. At the moment, nothing happening. Yeah, that's something which is there. Monak says, why Adidas jersey are getting costlier? Monak, I think the production costs are getting higher, and therefore, I guess Adidas, Puma, Nike are increasing the prices. That's where it stands at the moment, I guess. How did Real Madrid manage to sign Mbappe, that too on free transfer? Shocked and let him go without any transfer fee. I think the point was here that PSG wanted to extend the contract last year. They didn't, and they were looking to see how they could extend the contract. Didn't happen, and now he's rather going on a free transfer than for one of the biggest that there could have been in European football. Ishan says, I know UCL is a lot bigger and technically better competition. Do you make of the way FC Champions League is organized? What all can FC learn from UEFA in this aspect? I think the ACL has come a long way, and I think the comparison, the challenge that there is the Asian Champions League has grown. We need to, they need to make more out of the Asian stars which are in there. Again, this year was, of course, helped with the Saudi Pro League bringing in so many of these high-profile players that suddenly Cristiano Ronaldo is playing rather in the ACL rather than the UCL. So that's a good sign. And again, promo. I think the Champions League is going into a new format. Rather, Europe is growing to 36. Asia is rather shrinking to 24. I think they want to increase the quality, and then maybe in the next 3, 5, 7 years, they'll start increasing the teams again. So therefore, that will be interesting to see how Asia handles its UCL. And Ananda, did you watch Dhanraj's reel? Our PM was talking about Bengal football. No, I have not watched the reel. Which boots do you prefer for centre back player? Amal, I think it depends on each individual player. There is no, of course, there are different kinds of studs, or if you're using leather, different kinds of leathers that you can use on the upper. I think for me, the player has to decide which boot and which brand works for you. And for me, for example, I've been an Adidas person through and through since I've been young. So therefore, my boots have always been Adidas. Someone else would say, listen, mine have been Puma or Nike or whatever. So therefore, yeah. Oritra, with so much intricate detailing in the game, I think mentality of Madrid has to set them apart from others and lasting member, to my opinion. Yeah, I think the mentality part is very, very important because they are sure of themselves that they know, hey, listen, we can come back. You saw that, of course, in the final to turn things around. Also, that home game is Bayern where they're losing for 87 minutes and then they sort of turn around, of course, in the end with a bit of luck. And Madrid signing Mbappe. It's going to be interesting to see because you've got a few characters in there. I think Vinicius Jr. is not an easy character. Mbappe is not an easy character. So it'll be interesting to see how Ancelotti sort of handles this bunch when they come in. Hi, Igor Stimac. Welcome back. Should Stimac be sacked if we lose against Kuwait? Should young players be given a chance at Qatar, given it will be a dead rubber? I don't know what the FF is going to do, but even if we lose, it's not 100% a lost cause. That's one thing we should keep in mind. And by any chance Afghanistan win in Kuwait, against Kuwait, in Kuwait, we could still be in there. So therefore, football is a crazy game. We saw that Saturday in the Champions League final. So therefore, no, I don't think so. Let's wait and see. Let's let the six be played, and then we can decide if that's a dead rubber for us. Yeah, we can surely play some younger players. But again, I think let's wait and see what happens. Again, it might also be for some of the senior players their last match for India. Maybe, who knows? That's another point. Sunil is the one who's going ahead and ending his career in this one, but there might be some others who might say after 11th of June that's let's see. Cool. I know that most of the time national team coaches get sacked, but players' performance does not get measured in the national team or country, but players' performance measured in the club. No, I don't think so, Kumar, because I mean coaches everywhere get sacked, right? Don't you think so? I think that coaches get sacked X, Y, and Z. That's one of the things. Coaches get sacked, be it at club or country. And the players' accountability, it's take Bayern Munich, for example. You've had some of the most high-profile managers, after Pep Guardiola, they've all failed. Ancelotti has failed, Nagelsmann has failed, Tuchel has failed, even Flick, was later on sent home. So therefore, for me, club or country, it's the coaches who are there. Why there is West and Eastern and AFC competition that favors the ASEAN countries as the only two big horses, Japan and Korea, but in West there's Saudi, Qatar, and Iran. That's unfair. Classic gaming is very simple. It's because of travel. I mean, if you want, let's say you're a team from Australia, and potentially have to play, let's say, a team from Jordan. That travel is half a day. So to cut down on travel, the AFC has put sort of cut it in the middle and said, listen, this side is East Asia and this is West Asia, and it has worked. It has worked for Asian football because, again, when you're talking about East Asian football, you forget Japan very often. You forget the Chinese clubs also. The Chinese clubs have been or are good. So therefore, competitions at East and West is strong, I think. Mawale's quality of pasting of Nike boots has deteriorated with much less cost. Adidas boots give you more comfort with longer life. As I said, Monarch, it is always the question of what you're liking is in regard to what's the and it's something that I think it depends on each individual. In my opinion, Borussia played well up to 7 minutes, nullified Vinicius' unit threat. Yeah, again, Borussia Dortmund, it wasn't a question of a threat. Borussia Dortmund made 2 mistakes. They didn't close down Carvajal in the corner, and Madsen played that ball. So therefore, yeah. Recently bought a Nike Mercurial Series boot with 8K pasting, opened up in 3 months. Oh, I hope that there's been some sort of feedback on that from wherever you bought the shoe and maybe got something sorted. Vaishali, hi, welcome back. FF not serious about youth development, temporary coaches hire at youth level. Vaishali, it can be, there is a reason to it, right? I think that's something which we as fans of Indian football need to keep in mind and also understand. The AFF is doing all of this because they don't have enough money. The government is not supporting AFF in regard to sending teams abroad or subsidizing the salaries of the national team coaches. All of these things, there are a lot of things that are not happening. So therefore, the AFF is in a situation saying, listen, I have to cut costs. I have to keep the system running. And therefore, these kind of things are happening. So therefore, it's far from ideal. It's not the best scenario. But given the financial state that the AFF is in, you have to then say, listen, guys, yeah, this is happening. Let's wait and see. I forgot to mention every coaches get sacked, even if it's a club. Yeah, but again, Kumar, you said something else, right? You were talking about national teams. So therefore, national teams and players and clubs doesn't matter. Why there is no Red Bull Football Club in India? Classic gaming, because they don't want to have one. I don't know. I have to ask Red Bull that. Red Bull does a lot of stuff, a lot of activations in India, but Red Bull is not as active around the world as, let's say, City Football Group are, right? City Football Group now have 14 clubs directly or indirectly under their umbrella, which is the biggest sort of inter-country, inter-continent club network. So therefore that's there as well. So yeah, and that's as we see. Dipan, I was actually rewatching Uzbekistan versus India. It was always the small mistakes that can punish you. Dipan, again, it doesn't matter if you're watching Uzbekistan versus India women's, if you're watching Borussia Dortmund versus Real Madrid in the Champions League final, or you watched, I don't know, Argentina versus France in the World Cup final. It's always these small little mistakes. So that's something, that's always the deciding factors, which either it is the individual brilliance of a player which gets you a goal, or it is a mistake. Football in that way is very, very simple. It is either this or either that. Either it's brilliance or a mistake, or maybe a combination of both. But those are the options. There is nothing else that is there in football. Ishan, the exposure tours before the Under-17 World Cup were sponsored by the government, right? What would it take for them to support again hosting an AFC Cup? Ishan, yes, it was the government. It was also foreign federations, countries which helped up. The German Federation helped a lot, be it in regard to Nikolai Adam's salary, exposure trips extended to Germany, of course. We went to Brazil, we went to Russia, we went to Norway. So therefore, that's something that is there, and I don't think we need an AFC Asian Cup or something like that to host. It is just the will, desire of the government to support football, and that has not been there. That is a question at the right time needs to be asked to the Prime Minister, right? He speaks a lot about using sports, this and that, everything, but sadly, sports does not get that treatment that it should get. Cricket, for example, finances not completely, but mostly itself. But other sports in India, so therefore, that's something which is there. Red Bull is more interested in adventure sports. No, Moinak, I wouldn't say that, because if you see, adventure sports was their number one tool. That was the one which they sort of started off everything, which was brilliant marketing that they've done now over decades. But they've also done what one should not forget is Formula One. They've been a very successful team at Formula One. But on the other side, we also have had now football. They started in Salzburg many years back. Super club in Austria. They had New York. Then they came up to Leipzig. Then they did the club in Brazil. Now there is this sort of investment into Leeds United. So they are massively into football. But the question is, if the conversation that we guys have been having now for weeks and months, I think then says, where does Indian football stand? And that's the problem. So therefore, why would a Red Bull again try to do a youth partnership with FC Goa? Of course, it was during COVID. So therefore, yeah, those are things which are there. I was talking about Asian Cup. Oh, sorry, Uzbekistan versus India in the Asian Cup. Yeah, but again, small mistakes. But again, Uzbekistan had utilized their chances. It wouldn't have been a 3-0. It would have been a much worse result. Why FC don't have rules like Europe, where players from other countries limited to register in the club? If it is wrong, to correct me, another. Kumar, you've correctly said there is no rule, and again, Europe is, so to say, the strongest continent when it comes to football. So they are there. They have had to do sort of the freedom of movement because of European Union legislations, which allows you to sort of sign Europeans from across, not Europeans per se from the European Union, but what is Football Europe? And therefore, there's a restriction on players from South America, Central, North America, Africa, Asia, and Oceania to go into European football. And in Asia, there is none, and it doesn't make sense. You want the best. I mean, if you have restrictions, the Saudis are signing the best. So therefore, that's something which is there. So the structure is different. Classic Gaming, just today we talked about Amul should sponsor ISL. Now I found out that I'm sponsoring US cricket team. Yeah, but classic. This is the point and the problem, right? I mean, an Indian company like Amul is rather interested in cricket, and rather than football. So that's a reality, and we have to live with it. There is no sponsor waiting to come forward and say, "Listen, I want to spend huge amounts of money on football." There is none, and when there is, yeah, let's see. Uh, uh, you know, so let's see what happens, and yeah, it's a different thing. Youth structure in Europe, please explain. Vaishali, I think there's no simple explanation to it. The general structure is you have, again, it's similar to India, but again, it's just the competitions are not there. You have what you have. You have under 19, under 17, under 15, under 13, under 11, under 9, under 7 leagues. Nowadays, of course, you have the baby league, so to say, which is under 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 um, age groups, competitions, regular matches throughout the year. You have tournaments, competitions as well in there, lower age groups. It's not about the results, it's about playing football. Yeah, so therefore, it's there, it's explained easily, and you ensure that the teams get about 30, 40 matches a year, maybe even more, depending if you do also sort of try and get some mid-weekend friendly fixtures or play tournaments and other things. That's how it is. Amal, right, Red Bull is more things about adventure are their main thing. As I said, Red Bull adventure, yes, has been, is their main thing, but they've expanded massively into other sports, especially Formula One, of course, Red Bull Racing to be named, and into football. Those are the three sort of elements of their sports uh, marketing promotion portfolio. That's where it stands at the moment. Saw some news a few months ago that a few stringent laws related to football were being relaxed with respect to work permits in Europe. I mean, Ishan, I would not know that the rules have been relaxed. I thought they were actually being tightened and being proper targeted. It's not easy if you're a non-European citizen to come into Europe to play football. Is not just, hey, listen, they're waiting for you and please come in. Doesn't happen that way. That's quite tough and quite difficult actually. And again, the main thing is you need to have a pro contract which guarantees you a certain amount of money. Otherwise, you will not even get a stay permit. So or work permit. Work permit is then linked to the stay permit. These are sort of realities, yeah, for players. I spoke at the start about transfers today. Of course, Jitendra has joined Chennai FC. First official announcement by Chennai FC. And then, of course, the other one, Roy Krishna, is staying back at Odisha FC. So that's the first one. Really interesting to see, you know, which other foreigners OFC retain, but it looks like they will retain quite a few. So, yeah. Recently watched a video where a person that the Indian player selected in the Qatar squad has a temporary passport. How does that work? Ishan, I wouldn't know, to be honest, but I would think that he has a Qatari passport. I mean, he will not be able to, temporary passport will most probably not work. It's not only him, that the Bangladeshi kid as well. Qatar has been very smart. They've handed passports to players from Senegal in the past who came to Aspire. So they've done this, sporting passports, which is outside their rules. Classic game, I think the compulsory rule of having Asian players was good. There are quality Asian players like Roma, Tachikawa, Daisuke. We should get more Asian national team players. Your thoughts? Yeah, the Asian rule was good in the sense of that you saw also that you saw Asian talent, Japanese, again, Chroma being mentioned, Syrian. A lot of Aussies, of course, have come over to the ISL as well. But national team players we really have, right? Chroma is one of those exceptions. Most of these Aussies or Japanese, so none. Aussies, yes, have, Jason Cummings was a national team player, but is he still a national team player? We can talk about it, debate that. But I think that's something which has been there, which is good. So yeah, but let's see. We're going to get players now, most probably of then a higher quality from Europe or South America. Dipan says, I think it's a commendable job of how the football structure in our country without any support from government, lack of funds, and many other financial problems. yeah, I think Dipan, you've actually raised a point which I think a lot of people will not agree to, or will not say, oh, you know what, the federation needs to be commended on that, on their work. That's an understanding, which I think the AFF gets too much stick on this, and everything is to be blamed on the AFF. I think there is, as I always say, the stakeholders have to take some part of the blame, but also on the other side, the government needs to support football in a bigger way, which some states do, but at the central level, sadly, not happened so far. Um, Renil, can Karabas FC winning a shield can change the entire football atmosphere of Kerala footy? Renil, I think it would change things in the Kerala Blasters eco space. I think they wouldn't get that much of stick from other fans, if they win something. But Kerala football system, I don't know if how much that will change if the Blasters win it. It's, I think, not linked to it, the success of an individual club. Kerala football needs to do its stuff, needs to sort itself out. I've been trying to make one of my friends understand that football is the number one global sport and cricket comes nowhere near. He's a cricket fanatic, no way, except the fact that's India. And Monak, that's the reality. The point is, cricket has become an Indian sport with other countries participating. You're now trying to push it in America. And I think yesterday a friend of mine sent me something which is regarding the squads of Canada and the US, and there's not one Canadian, not American in there. All of them are, from the old Commonwealth, so to say. Cricket is an Indian sport now. It's not even an English sport. It's in England, Australia, and South Africa, to name three of the biggest countries in the sport. It's just there, right? So therefore, if these kind of people who are these cricket fanatics who do not understand this, what else to say? Cricket is limited to only 10 countries. Don't know how much visibility will get in the national market apart from these or not, even if you qualify as sponsors look into football. See, the point is that Indian sponsors look at Indian eyeballs. So from that perspective, it makes sense for them. Football will not give it to them. The numbers, even let's say Real Madrid, they have Emirates front of shirt. An Indian company for it wouldn't even make sense to say, listen, I'm only front of shirt for Real Madrid to sell stuff in India. So therefore, it's not, Chetan, hi. Hamza Chaudhary, good player, Leicester City, and set to become a player of the Bangladesh national team. Let's see, when that's going to happen. Vaishali, Hyderabad FC may shut down due to its relegation delayed another year. Is it delayed segment of bottom level fight? Vaishali, there are two things. If Hyderabad would now be relegated to the I League, I think Hyderabad would be history. Hyderabad is at the moment surviving because it's still an ISL team. Because to run an I-League team is even more difficult than running a team in the ISL sometimes. It's less money, of course, yes, that's one thing. But again, I-League has much, much less visibility, much, much less opportunities. So therefore, that's the reality. Ishan, will you be able to make it to the India-Kuwait match? No, Ishan, I won't be there in Kolkata on Thursday. Classic voices are not helping anything in particular. How can they ignore their own national team? Classic, given that's India and its governments. And again, it's not just this one, but this government earlier helped. Yeah, the one before them also helped. Yeah, but at the moment, it's not amongst the priorities. Yeah, so let's see. Ishan, just to put things into perspective, when Australia or England wins the Cricket World Cup, it doesn't even feature on first page of the newspaper. Yeah, that's one of those realities, right? Average Indian seeks mediocrity. Even cricket playing nations like Aussie, England, New Zealand, South Africa, even the West Indies are good in football, except that Indian subcontinent nations. Yeah, that's the reality. Did Brennan get a chance earlier in his career for Leicester? Yes, he had a chance, and he trained at Leicester City. They got a new ban on them today in their account. Kumar, there are so many bans there flying around for Hyderabad. Things are difficult for Hyderabad. Things are very, very difficult, and hopefully things at some stage will change, because that's important for not only for them, but it's embarrassing. Again, they're one of now numerous clubs who have been struck with transfer bans by FIFA. Not good. 50 minutes plus, guys. As always, please like this video, share this video, like other videos, watch them. Again, I did yesterday a video on Mumbai City and their chances and opportunities. The reasons why they've actually gone for a squad overhaul. On the other side, did that Ishan, I'm saying, Kabir Nath interview. Sorry, got disconnected. I did the Kabir Nath interview, so watch that as well, and of course other things on the channel. And if you've got something, so therefore, do that. That would be nice. Thank you. Chetan, don't you think Blasters and Dortmund are similar in some things? Yellow jersey, huge fan base, and poor luck. Chetan, yes, Dortmund has had now poor luck, but on the other side, I would say Dortmund has still won a lot. I mean, they've won the Champions League, they've won the Bundesliga multiple times. They've not been lucky now in the last year. Certainly last year, they lost the Bundesliga title in the last 2 minutes to Bayern, Champions League final, but that's that side of things. So they are more successful, but yes, of course, the yellow color is in their huge fan base, and that certainly is a similarity. Shamullah, hi, welcome back. Sir, how's the Josh? I'm fine. Looking forward to Thursday. Let's see what happens at the Solix Stadium. Sadly, I won't be there. And I guess you've got your ticket, so wish you fun. Why is this FSDL instructions to ISL clubs create workers youth programs so league can become better? That's an instruction that ISL can't give. You see, no other league will give it to you. They will give you a basic instruction. I think it's on each individual club a prerogative to be willing to do youth development. I think that's something which I feel is a huge problem in an Indian football context, that the clubs themselves don't want to do what is needed in regard to youth development. If you don't want to do youth development, you're not going to do it. No one can push you, and that's something that you see with multiple teams in the ISL. Classic Game Criminal say that why should we support Indian football? They don't win anything. Cricket won World Cup. That's why whole India loves cricket. That's what you think of this Charges argument. I've heard that a lot, but my first point is the whole of India doesn't like cricket or love cricket. That's the first point. I think that's an argument that you can throw in them, that not everybody likes cricket in India. There's large parts of India which doesn't bother about cricket. Football, of course, has its fans, its fan base. So, but yeah, it's a reality that that cricket is as big as it is in India, and again, we won't be able to change that in the short to mid-term. Ishan, can a club carry on without having a large fan base? I think so. If you've got the right financial backers, maybe sometimes it's better to have the right financial backers rather than have a fan base. Because in an Indian context, what kind of revenue does your fan base generate for you? Not much, right? So therefore, that's a harsh reality, but that's a reality. Do you have any information about the Hyderabad owners selling the Hyderabad? See, the multiple new investors coming, and they're coming for a long time, but still don't reach the Hyderabad. No. At the moment, Kumar, situation is as has been. Supposedly there is an investor, but the investor still has not invested or put things on the table, and I think it's becoming more and more difficult. I think that will be an interesting question down the road. Is can Hyderabad really play the season? Can FSDL allow them to play the season, or will next season be a 12-team league and Hyderabad ceases to exist? I mean, that's a reality. That's a potential danger that exists at the moment. So let's wait and see. Monok, digging out old story, why did we actually withdraw a bid for Asia Cup hosting? Because the government didn't, that's the unofficial version. So from the FF pulled out from 2027 because they themselves changed the strategy of saying we want to host competition. That was an earlier prerogative under Professor Patel. Said, listen, let's host large scale football tournaments, and then that would enable us to build infrastructure. So that was the approach, and there was quite, let's be honest, there was a lot of funding which came forward because of the FIFA Under 17 World Cup, the FIFA Under 17 Women's World Cup. Those things have helped us. I understand that they don't like Indian football, but why can't they see football with better quality? They don't understand, love the sport, as simple as that. Monarch, very well said. I hear Dortmund would have won, so they would have gotten 45 crores something, and when they got 51 crores something, Dortmund had win-win situation. I think the numbers are wrong, because if Dortmund had won, they would have gotten quite a bit more of money than rather the extra, I think, 5 million euros for Bellingham. So therefore, these numbers don't add up. But yeah, they are earning, I think they would have earned about 20 million euros more, and now they get about 5. So that's something which is there. I want a club in Pune. Balawadi Stadium is far away from the state, so viewership will be low, but let's hope a rich investor supports this idea. Ishan, it's happened multiple times. I mean, if you look back at it, it happened with the Parimals, Pune FC. It happened with the Bharat Group, with Kalyani Bharat. Kalyani Group with Kalyani Bharat, and it happened with DSK, of course, with DSK Group. It happened with Pune City as well. But all of these groups, for different reasons, at some stage pulled the plug or had to pull out. So therefore, let's wait and see. And none of these clubs actually had a huge fan base. I think Pune did, especially Pune City and Pune FC before that, did some good work in regard to youth development. But fan base was never that big an issue in Pune. Chetan, do you think our squad at the time of qualifiers was better than Kuwait and Afghanistan? We just somehow messed up. Chetan, let me separate that and speak about those two opponents. Where we should have been better than Afghanistan, 100%. We are 100% better than Afghanistan, and should be better than Afghanistan on any given day. But we weren't, and we aren't. Reality. Kuwait is of our level. So for me, Kuwait is something where we can challenge them and they can challenge us. So therefore, I don't think we're better than them. And we won away in Kuwait. That was a huge win. That was a historic win. But what was needed was beating Afghanistan twice, and that was the homework we didn't do. And therefore, we are in the situation we are in and could lose out on qualifying. Rachid, good evening, sir. Hope you're doing great. Thank you, Rachid. Welcome back. Devobroto, what's your opinion on East Bengal FC team building till date? Very good. Very, very good. Imedi Talal, one of the best midfielders of last season. Diamant, of course, is a solid striker. Dejit gives competition to Prab Sukhan in goal. So these are very, very good. Sani Provat Lakra is already potential good right back. I hear Savio Gama from Goa FC Goa seems to be a potential. So let's see if East Bengal can sign him. But again, I think what East Bengal now, so far, the attacking side is I feel is sorted. Now they need to look at defensive midfield and defense. Those, if they can sort those out, can get 4 or 5 people and get another 4 or 5 people for the bench, then East Bengal can be competitive. If they don't sign players for the bench, and they will have injuries. There is no team in this league which has not had 4, 5, 6 serious injuries this season. So therefore, let's wait and see where this goes. Do you see East Bengal finishing in top 6? Devrup, I will not answer that question now, because we are at the start of this. We're not even at the start. The transfer window is still set to open, but we are at the start of this whole conversation in regard to transfers, and therefore we'll have to see. Chennai seems to be doing a good job. It looks like Northeast will strengthen themselves. BFC certainly look to be strengthening themselves. So there are 8, 9, 10 teams who are most probably going to fight for the slot. So therefore, too early. Let's have this conversation maybe end of July, early August, where the team composition is a little clearer. Maybe even going towards end of August when the final squads will be there. Monarch, they say football is so boring. They kick ball for 90 minutes and cricketers play football for 1 hour. They call football boring and ultimate game. What test match for days and ODI matches. Classic again. We can't change it. These are realities. The ISL clubs complain that they are losing money to then FSA has to say they must follow certain path to sustain clubs. as is to follow these youth structures. See, if you make it restrictive and say that you have to spend within a certain guideline, then you would not have a Mr. Goenka spending as much money as he is. So therefore, guidelines are there about youth development. As I said, it's you can't do a forced system on the club. Certain things you have to enforce because it's a system which is enforced by the league and by the AFF, right? But if you enforce it, will it give you results? No, it will not. I don't think so. Enforced systems, again, there's a will. BFC has done what it's done because it wanted to. Kerala Blasters, Goa are doing it because they want to. Northeast will build now something. Punjab has been doing it. So therefore, they have to have the will. If other teams don't want to do it, you can't force them. Devrup, thoughts on Roy Krishna extending his contract? Good move. If you see last season, one of the highest scorers. I would say Roy Krishna has done very well for himself. And for Odisha, that's a good I think that's a very, very good extension. I think, yeah. Ishan says, do clubs make money if they play FC Champions League? I remember FC Goa getting with some money a few years ago. Hopefully that covers the travel and stay costs, and the clubs don't need to bleed more. The AFC doesn't bring you per se extra money because we're talking about India, so there is no added television revenue or anything of that sort which comes in, or sponsorship. Yes, with again Goa got some certain money because they were also hosting at the time. There was the bubble season also in the Champions League. That's a different thing. But if clubs come out of Asian competition with a +-0, I think that they would say they're successful. Considering about Afghanistan goalkeeper playing in Denmark first, and that first goal scorer of Afghanistan's Brisbane Roar Academy product. Yeah, but Classic Gaming overall, you had 4 players in that Afghanistan squad who were not playing at a club at that time. Yeah, Sharif, for example, centre back who scored the 2-1 winner on a penalty, that didn't have a club after he left Churchill Brothers. So therefore, that's the reality. If you want to know the starting number was good, just copy paste the last match against 11 against Afghanistan. Let's wait and see, Kumar. East Bengal is based in Kolkata, represents other parts of Bengal. East Bengal is based in Kolkata, but what East Bengal actually means is that what today is East Bengal is actually Bangladesh. So this is a club of Bengalis who came over during the time of the partition or even earlier. Nikhil Pujari to Mumbai, possible? Rachit, I don't think so. Nikhil signed a long-term contract at BFC, as did Sana at the time when they left. Marcus said this season there are so many clubs getting transfer bans. Will we sustain? Classic sustainability. Don't even use the word sustainability, because from a sustainability logic, then no club would survive in India. But the problem is that these clubs are cheating people. They're not paying the salaries to players that have left them. That is, I think, rather the concern that we should have. That clubs are unable or unwilling to pay salaries. That's the problem. People forgot the Savio Gama. I think any club can pounce on him. I think he can do decent well enough. Yeah, but Savio Gama had 2 good seasons at FC Goa, and last season didn't even feature very often as a substitute. So therefore he'll have to build himself. What an argument for slow claps for them. Do you want to see Homipam or Sumit Rathi in Mumbai? I don't see them coming to Mumbai, let's put it this way, but you never know. But again, is there any asset owned by Mumbai City? I mean, any property? No, they don't own anything. Mumbai City doesn't own anything. Sorry. Good to see Northeast United conducting trials. Hope they get some good players from them. Yeah, let's see what they do. Mumbai would have got cross from Al match for hosting it in DY Patil. Ticket prices were huge. Yeah, but Classic, don't forget, Mumbai City also had to spend a lot of money to organize the match. Security, transport, this, that. The costs are X times higher because of Valla. Especially security would have been high as planned, because originally you planned that Neymar would be coming, right? So therefore, yeah, that's a huge cost for the club. Last time I used to wait eagerly for a Denmark match. I want to see them going far in the championship. Lately, I'm not following European national team. It's such potential surprise in this Euros. Monarch, I think Austria could be that surprise. Under Rangnick has very, very talented player. Of course, he's going to miss David Alaba due to injury, of course, who plays for Real Madrid. But others will have to. Denmark, of course, can, of course, be another interesting one, but we'll have to see, which teams really, really can cause an upset and surprise. Mainak, hi, welcome. Hassa, I want every sport in India to grow and see a good crop of new players. I want India to be a sport-loving nation. I always feel good when we do good in cricket. Can't blame cricket for football failure. You have a point, but also on the other side, you don't. On one side, yes, it's true. You can't blame cricket for all football failures or the failures of a sport like football. But if I generalize and not just keep it to football, then I would have to say that cricket is so big in an Indian context that that cricket is just too big. That cricket in India is just too big, and it's sucking the air out of other sports. So therefore, it will be interesting to see how football or other sports also can grow in an Indian context. Chetan, Gokulam Kerala to ISL next season. Chetan, let's wait and see how they built their squad. Will be interesting to see. So therefore, at the moment, I don't know. Will be interesting to see how the I-League sort of pans out. Gokulam Kerala should be amongst the favorites, but you also have Srinivas Deccan potentially in there. It will be interesting to see what the situation at the moment is. Classic game with Sakai will be the first OCI to play in Euros. No, he's not. There have been a few. Vikash Tavasso has played for France. Aaron Winter has played for the Netherlands. So we've had a few OCIs, so to say, play in the Euros. Reynald, can you do a podcast on live with Richard Hood? Surely I'll ask Richard if and when to see if he's got time. Ishan says, crazy that I've seen no real talk shows where guests believe that Italy are favorites. Yeah, let's wait and see. Again, favorites. Let's wait and see what happens. Malik Arjun, hi Malik Arjun, welcome back. You can't blame cricket for everything. It's their management vision that helped them grow, which football lacks in cricket. You 14, 16, 18 have played in proper stadiums and grounds. That's also factually right. Cricket as sport is not a problem for us, but the overhyped and overtension gets killed by other sports. Exactly, that's my point. So that's the thing. So those of you who've not subscribed to arunfoot here on YouTube, please do. Again, the channel is growing quite well, actually. Thanks a lot. Over the last few weeks, thanks for helping me cross the 1,000 user mark a few days ago. That's nice. And let me also know what kind of topics, interviews. Again, heard Richard Hood. I'll try. Supposed to do something with Randy, but then the floods came in Manipur, so therefore we haven't been able to connect. But I'll try to do the interviews and try to connect with people and try to get you as much interesting content as possible. Kumar, the way in India people see the sports completely different from any other country apart from because of the success. Yeah, maybe. Rachid, ChatGPT predicts that Chevy won't be able to have a T in the end of another season as they expect to remain trophy virgins for another year. Rachid, ChatGPT might be able to give you answers to a lot of things, but this is a question which I guess they can't answer because, again, football is unpredictable. Who would have thought on Saturday night that Borussia Dortmund would be the better team than Real Madrid? They were the underdogs, but they were the better team, and they deserved to win the trophy. But they didn't, right? So therefore, football is not a predictable sport. That's the charm. Chetan, there are many fans who have watched some matches and follow Indian football, but they don't watch our matches. They will come back if we win some matches. Chetan, hopefully that's the case, huh? And so therefore, let's wait and see what happens. Is U17 World Cup the main place where Top European scout comes and watches? There's a lot of Tajik players who played and moved to big clubs, for example, Shakhtar Donetsk. Renal, I don't think that that's the pure thing. The Under 17 World Cup might be a platform, but again, most clubs in Europe scout other leagues across Europe and some of across the world as well. And for them, the World Cup is an added bonus. Again, if a team stands out like Tajikistan did in 2019, then suddenly, again, an ex USSR country, and then could be the Russians, they could be the Ukrainians or other teams, even maybe their neighbors, big neighbors like Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan, suddenly become interested in players. Classic game, Kaka Slatan really playing in Super League Kerala? No, as my understanding is, they are not playing. I think they might be brand ambassadors or something of that sort. But surely these guys are not playing. Malik Arjun, if you and some creators grows well with good number, you can have some influence on Indian football. Malik Arjun, I would hope, that this part of Indian football has an influence on what happens in Indian football. I think my conversations behind the scenes with people and trying to get things done or do things, does more. But again, it doesn't harm to have a certain level of following and understanding. A friend the other day said something to me, which was a huge compliment. He says, "Listen, you might not have the largest number of followers, but you know who follows you and who's watching the stuff that you're creating. So therefore, yeah, take it. That's good. So therefore, maybe less, but more quality. Maybe that's something which, in generally, I think is something we should follow in football." Mayank, any transfers from Mumbai City at the moment? No, Mayank. Again, it's supposed to be. Brandon has been announced. Nofal from Blasters looks from Gokulam Kerala is also likely set, as is TP Renesha's number 2. So those are the ones which are sort of in the public domain, and of course, Josh Chan is supposed to extend his stay in Mumbai. So let's see. Agritsa, I've been working hard in Uttarakhand to get a proper responsible football association about the funding and tournaments and leagues. Every state FA is corrupt and main culprit. Man, the problem is if you want to get to know about the funding, there isn't much about funding, right? These state associations, district associations try to run with whatever little is there, or people are, giving them some money here and there to try and keep the system running, but again, in tournaments and leagues, yeah, it's most probably easier to try and find out elsewhere. And again, in a place like, let's wait and see that how this can really grow, because it's a state with a lot of talent. Let's wait and see what happens. On that front. Ishan, do scouts of European clubs watch and scout from tournaments like AFC Asian Cup? Yeah, they do. They do. Kumar, now please bring Richard Hood. I've seen how he speaks with data. He showed why Japan is Japan because of what they did, shown how many matches kids play in season with quality coaching. Yeah. Okay, I didn't mean. Okay, I understood, Malikarjun, what you then meant. How about individual Peter Kratka, any Mumbai City players since you have contacts within the club? Yeah, let me see. Let me see if I can maybe get Peter Kratky to come forward for a conversation. Can any of our women's players play in A-League? The quality of A-League is on par with European level. Classic gaming, first of all, the A-League is not as good as European level. And to have an Indian player who is playing in the second tier of Aussie football, right? So therefore, I don't think we have players at the moment who can play in Australia. MD Gaming, U20 की टीम कहाँ है? बहुत सारे नेशनल टीम रेडी करके प्रैक्टिस एंड फ्रेंडली खेल भी चालू कर दिया है, और हमारे टीम पास टीम का coach. Yeah, MD Gaming, I think that's a problem at the moment. That's the reality. Our under 17, under 20, and under 23, all these teams are not there at the moment. Yes, I hope that is changed. Ayush Mittal, man, I'm also from Uttarakhand. State FA is very safe, and we have a lot of football loving people. We don't have any good result. I think that's Ayush. That's a thing, a challenge, right? That you have states where football supposedly is not big, or football doesn't have that much of support, but you have fans in those states, right? So therefore, how can you grow it? How can you make it better? That's, I think, very often the challenge in these states. And yeah, it's I guess not easy, and therefore, yeah, it doesn't make things easy. I think that's something that we have across India and Indian football, I guess, as it stands. Chetan, nowadays there are cricket leagues that happen in every state. Sorry, got disconnected. There are cricket leagues like IPL in every state, and sometimes people playing half the stadium in those matches also. I think, is it about the cricket or is it about the entertainment factor of going to these matches? I think that's something which in an Indian context is very, very important. Yeah. Ashmital, say your views on our women's team coach and her tactics. I think the less said, better. I think she is not the right person to be head coach of the Indian women's national team. I go back again. I don't know as so therefore, to me, yeah, a quality foreign coach with that kind of, like a Thomas Dennerby kind of character, I think would be good for Indian football. Someone said U20 team already started camp in Goa. Malik Arjun, that's news to me. I have not heard it, so therefore, I wouldn't try and confirm it. Rachit, if Mumbai is planning to bring in 4 foreigners who are new to Indian football, how important is it to sign them before Durand Cup so they can play with the team and think better? In ISL, well, Rachit, they will do that, right? I think wait for the next 2 weeks. I think there'll be certain announcements made. I think also the Indian clubs know that when the Euros are there, not that much will be out there. So therefore, let's let's wait and see who they bring in. What is lacking in our coaching education? Can't AFF copy a curriculum from a top footballing country? I think copy pasting, will not work. You have to develop and evolve an Indian system and create something which is of quality, and that is something which Indian football would have to, which is something which needs to grow. And therefore, to me, copying, let's say, from a Germany or a Spain or France or England, would not work. We have to evolve and have to develop. MD is doing so much for Indian football. You have the one direct entry to FIFA without qualifiers. Well, that's not happening, right? You will not get direct entries again. At youth level, you can as hosts, but at other levels, yeah, very difficult. Classic game, how come Myanmar is ahead of us in FIFA, women's FIFA rankings? If only people have the same interest as for men's team, for women's team, they would have played World Cup. But now, you see, the point is, our team has sort of stagnated in the last 2-3 years in the women's game. Despite IWL start and proper league and all that stuff, our women's football has not gotten better. The others are moving ahead faster than us, and that's, I think, the biggest challenge. In that case, most of the people say football is also entertainment. Kumar, I think there's a difference in the way that I would say that IPL and ISL is organized. If ISL was only entertainment, you would run it as a 11-12 week league, right? It would be more of what it used to be in the first year. Now it's a proper league, and therefore there's a lack of commitment of people to actually follow a league for 6, 7, 8 months. That is, I think, one of our big problems. So tell me, if I do coaching course, FCC or B, how to get job or search job. In the gaming, first of all, you have to start somewhere, right? You will not get a job somewhere just because you have a license. So you have to, work in an academy or work in a school, and then potentially you can try and get a job as a coach. But you have to, before that is an E and a D license. You have to do those, work in grassroots, and then, maybe you can work your way up in football. Cricket is connected entertainment, exactly, Malik Arjun. Why Indian doesn't work on their body game? I think India has done quite a bit on the work on the body game. So that's the reality. IPL is ultimate entertainment. Many of my friends who don't know how to hold a bat watch cricket because it's heavily marketed. There are cheerleaders in IPL. Yeah, that's show for entertainment. That's classic game, and that's the point, right? So therefore, that's something. What format should Indian youth football follow, considering India is a big country and a lot of surface to cover. Bilbong, I think it's on that front, very simple. There's on one side, the grassroots side of things, the baby leagues, which we now have, or which are called Blue Cups, of course. Sorry, not to, I have to say the new name now. In that way, competition. The kids need to play 25, 30 matches a year to start off with, and then move up into the youth system, and then have enough matches, have competitions, and the best are filtered through to the top. And it'll not happen across India. It'll happen in certain parts and certain regions, and then you'll have to wait and see what happens. And therefore, yeah, these are the realities, and that we will have to wait and see what happens. Just hearing, Mbappe just announced as a player for Real Madrid. Chetan, do you think we'll do it more football, our men's team or our women's team? Chetan, if you'd asked me this question 2-3 years ago, I would have clearly said women's team. But again, as I've been saying, I think our women's team is sort of a little stagnating. I think the earlier generation, again, and it's similar to what's happened in the men's game, that the earlier generation seems to be more talented than the newer ones. And this is something I think we need to, someone or the other needs to research and find out, why is it with more football happening that our talent base is actually getting worse? So are we diluting, or are we not sort of working on creating excellence at the top, or rather, broad basing the game? Maybe that's part of our problem. I don't know. I feel that's a big point of conversation in regard to where do we stand, how do we stand, what needs to be done. Huge challenge, I think, in a Indian football context, and therefore I hope the right things, how we going to build the whole thing. So that's a huge challenge. Ayush, ISL coaches complain about not getting enough time to work on players' individual skills due to 2 or 3 matches in a week. So what they do in their preseason time, going to other countries for training. For the ISL coaches, it's they have their matches, yes, and you have then these other competitions, again, Durant, Super Cup / Federation Cup, whatever it's going to be. And again, in India, one thing is which is making it complex and complicated is the traveling. The traveling is not as easy as if you were playing in Europe or XY other country. So therefore, for me, very, very clearly, that's something, because they understand, right, that a lot of their players, maybe with the basics, they're not the best. So they have to work on those basics with the players again and again and again and again. Maybe then they'll be better. So, and therefore to me, let's see where the whole thing goes. Very complex, very complicated, but yeah, we need to get working. MD Gaming, how great Uzbekistan work in youth football, and now junior player came to senior and they played retail football, so produce great results. Currently are growing rapidly. I mean, Uzbekistan always has been a good football playing nation. I mean, people forget that. Some of the best players have played in Europe, or play in Europe. So therefore, to me, Uzbekistan is a football giant. It's just that the national team has actually not lived up to the billing and has actually been successful to that extent, be it in an Asian Cup or be it qualifying for a World Cup. So therefore, Uzbekistan is one of, with all the talent that they have, they've been one of the failures actually. So of Asian football. India need to volunteer from these countries and see, we can take inspiration, right? Inspiration, certainly. India should take inspiration from anyone who's doing good work in the world of football, club or country. But we have to do it our Indian way. And that is the real challenge for football in India, to try and, that's something. Given how Indian football politics ruin sports, politicians deliver want to, majority of us want, it's us who are not interested to play. Yeah, Malikarjun, sadly, you have another very, very valid point. Kumar, now the people say in football you have to have more success in 4.6 years, they will see more failure after that. But how does they see failures or long haul? See, Real Madrid is a beast of itself, right? I mean, Real Madrid before now 6 titles in 11 years, didn't play a Champions League final for 11 years. So therefore, you have these, these things, right? To me, so therefore, Real Madrid has had failures, but they've had more success than failures. That's something. And it's the art of winning. Real Madrid is about the art of winning, and that is something which has worked for them. Do you think the money offered to McLaren is justified? Raj, if you ask me so, no, no. I think no salary in the ISL or even in the I League is actually justified. For the standard of football, all salaries are too high. Malik Arjun, in our locality, so many uncles, 40 plus, plays great badminton. They reach many states, national level, and open tournaments. It's all about interest. Yeah, Malik Arjun, that's the point, right? You say your uncles have got to play badminton. If I go in the winters to Kolkata, you see the five-a-side football tournaments, the seven-a-side football tournaments on the Kolkata Maidans across the different clubs, where even elder people are playing football regularly. Yeah, let's see what really happens. Raj, will you return to ISL as you were with Mumbai? Raj, as I've said, I think a few times in these lives over the last few weeks and months, never say never. If the right offer from an ISL team comes and then they want my services, you know, I would certainly talk to them and see what works. So therefore, never say never. So yes, if the right offer is on the table, and I think we can do something, we can change something, I would surely consider joining an ISL team. Yeah, surely. Ayush, do you have any news on Madras FC club who has gained a lot of attention when they installed hybrid pitch and many high class facilities? See, there's an investor behind the club, Ayush, who has sort of focused on youth football, grassroots and youth football first, and then wants to build a team on top of it. So let's wait and see what Madras do, and they've got a lot of expertise in the club already. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how they can further build this club, build this bigger, and try, and see what happens. And again, Karnev business definitely not deserved because he is from BJP and not for not take less at fair that he should resign process. But see, that's your opinion, and again, is it right, wrong? Again, is a totally different discussion. MD Gaming, but again, to run the AFF is not easy, and a lot of people wanted an ex-footballer to be running the federation. So I think that's the thing. The learning which should be there is that you need professionals, as people with management skills, with sports management skills to run. So therefore, to me, yeah. A lot of things are different than what people think or perceive to be. That's I think one of those realities. Not how Steven worked with nationals with perimeters. Smith players don't have this much game time, and the quality is not that much during his time. Contrary, first of all, I think 5, 7, 8, 9 years ago, football wasn't as complex and had so much of outside inputs as it has today. I think in his second stint, Steven got a lot of help from the AFF to do things. I think that should be clearly said. In first stint, when Steven was there, Steven actually organized stuff for the national team. So therefore, for me, yeah, he did well, and the players actually had more game time than they today. The talent pool was actually better in Steven's time than it is today, I feel. So I don't know, Kumar. I wouldn't agree with your point that you have. Oh, sorry. Chetan, do you think the sports scenario of our nation will change as we grow financially as a nation? Also, do you know any nation which is good in multiple sports and going weak at the same time? Chetan, that would have been most probably the hope of the last 30 years. India has grown substantially, but me, I think that's not interlinked. It's the desire, the will to spend money. See, good example is Odisha under Navin Patnaik, that they've spent so much on sports. Initially, of course, a lot on hockey. other sports which are strong in the tribal belt. Now it's been football in the last few years. These are realities. And on the other side, multi-sports nations, economically weak, a lot of countries, smaller countries across the Balkans, to me is Kenya does well in different sports. West African countries do it. Certain countries in the Caribbean are strong in 2 or 3 sports. So there are these, even Brazil and Argentina, take Brazil out, but Argentina, Uruguay are good in sports, or Chile, and they're not that financially strong. Who do you think can become a national coach from ISL? Raj, if you ask me, and I've said this multiple times, I don't want someone from the ISL to become the national team coach. I would bring in someone who is not connected to Indian football to come in. I want a fresh start for the national team, and for that to happen, we need a completely fresh face who's not there, who might be not even thinking about it at the moment. That would be my sort of approach. Kumar, I want to throw some surprise to you. Praful Patel and his party and their fold, Arka Singh, a few months after the election, voted faction for AF next term. Kumar, yeah, I know that, so that's not a surprise. And I've heard this from multiple people who've said it. Again, how will it work? Because, but they don't say how it'll work. So therefore, let's wait and see. Indian politics, Indian football are, it's don't try to look at it with logic. It doesn't work that way. MD Gaming, Dada, please tell me, after AFC Asian and World Cup qualifiers, India play very bad. Why president don't take any actions, and why is not doing press conferences? Why is not answer fans or media? Let's then start MD Gaming. I would say that it starts with the coach. It starts with the players who've not said anything, and it is. You heard the technical committee. The technical committee was fine. That's the problem, right? What are we trying to sell? The Indian team Asia Cup was bad. Very, very bad. Afghanistan was worse. And no one came forward to speak. So forget the president as the leader of the federation. There are different people, different levels. And nobody has sort of taken authority and said, listen, guys, you know what? We were bad. So therefore, it's a general problem. Do you have information about Supreme Court hearing? Depends on what happens tomorrow with the results, and then a lot of things will then become clearer in Indian football, and I guess in India in general. New to the channel, haven't subscribed, please subscribe to arunfoot here on YouTube, arunfoot on the other platforms as well. That would be great, guys. So do support me if you can. Look forward. Thanks a lot, as always, for these conversations. And let me quickly have some water. Plus, again, India's not even using ordinary players in U17, U20 Asian Cup. I think they might even qualify for World Cup. This event will be hugely have positive on the economy, but our government don't understand it. Yeah. Well said. Can't say more on that, because football has to be a priority sport in that respect. And Indonesia is a country where, badminton is strong, table tennis is strong, certain other sports are strong. But football is as global sport. So this is, if India wants to use, so therefore for me, it's something that needs to be there. So therefore for me, it doesn't make sense, for us. We need to change things. So that's something which is happening. So please share your other channel in the comments. It's easy to find your channel. Certainly, it's there in the links below in the text, but I'm sharing all my sort of social medias for you to follow. The thing which hurts the most is we have not developed much for 4 or 5 years, whereas other nations on our level are developing with pace. Yeah, Chetan, The question is for us: have we developed? Have we stagnated? Have we even become worse? So therefore, to me, it's a problem. And as you correctly said, the East Asian nations have certainly done better, and even the South Asian nations, I think, will develop until the next SAF Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see. MD Gaming, not AFF, coach and players who takes account of fans are doing incredible support in Qatar, India, or Kuwait. Are we idiots? Support blindly, not ask questions. You can ask questions, and MD Gaming, any fan anywhere in the world can ask questions in football or any other sport. The question is if the federation, if the team, if the coach, if the management of that team or management of the national team or technical committee in this case will answer your question very, very simply. So that's the thing, right? And none of them have bothered to give you an answer. So therefore, I say the accountability to fans, there is no accountability, and there's never been accountability. If you think there's been accountability in Indian football or Indian sports in general, there's no accountability. Is there accountability at Borussia Dortmund or Real Madrid on certain things? No, there's not. So it's easy, it's very idealistic, and to think about these things, but it doesn't happen. It's not happening. One of the English team is superior to committee, or then will be superior to English. I don't know who is controlling whose decision. See, Steamach doesn't control the technical committee's decision. I don't know where you get this thought process from, Kumar, because he's not controlling them. It's that they are not taking a decision, a call on things. They are happy with what is being said around them, and they're happy to keep. So, so therefore, that's something. Yeah, that's something which is there. Indonesian League versus ISL. Your thoughts in terms of everything? Indonesian League any day. I think a coach who is with one of the Kolkata Giants, who's worked in Indonesia, said it is insane over there, and it's a different level. So that's So therefore, yeah, no question about it. Classic Gamer, Ananda, MD Gaming has a point. Since Asian Cup of players are avoiding fans for doing SAF Cup, they wanted all the fame. Yeah, but Classic Gaming isn't that. Again, we go back to what we were, I think, some of us were discussing a few days ago on Rahul KP. When things were fine, Rahul KP is fine to take the fame. And, fine. And now he's been bombarded because his performance was not good enough. And now he's for him, is fighting back because some of the abuses, insults are personal. So the point is, and this is something, if I take the fame, I also have to take the blame. But around the world, most people will take the fame, but not the blame. That's life. So therefore, this is a challenge which is there. So guys, it's not going to change tomorrow or any other day. This is something which has been there, which is there also, right? For football, for any other sport around the world, or even celebrities in movies and in other fields, it's there. Chetan, the only thing I can see in our gameplay is that our players are good on the ball and our game is pretty much watchable. I watched India versus Bangladesh, they were very poor on the ball. Okay, interesting. I would have, then watch India versus Thailand. If you watched Asian Cup, India won 4-1. Watch that game and then watch the games that you've watched, Chetan. I think your opinion would be a little different because at the moment, Afghanistan was atrocious. And what does gameplay help me? Again, a simple question, and that's not only to you, Chetan, but to everyone who's watching and listening. Do you rather have good gameplay, or do you rather be having good results? And again, I go back to the Champions League final. Real Madrid were not good for 74, 73 minutes, but then turned things around. It'll be forgotten in a few years. The result is that what counts in football. Nice. And this whole possession business, it's a complete BS. Because most teams can't play that way. So we discuss things which I feel are not right and should not be our priorities. That's for me very, very important. What are our priorities? How are we playing? What are we doing? It doesn't work that way. Other nations, after they say many nations take action quickly and for not taking about loss, they just avoid it. It's really bad and people support this. That makes me angry. Maybe that's the problem, right? Again, it was passed on by the AFF management, and they passed it on to the technical committee, and the technical committee didn't take a call. And again, the ex-secretary has now even said, you know what, the technical committee cleared his contract extension. That's why. So this is no one wants to things because that's part of the problem. You know, the leadership. So that's that's the reality. তুমি বাঙালি তো দাঁড়া, yes, I am Bengali, yes. Classic, but Europe players bow down to Fleur whenever they lose. Our players do Viking clap when we win, but don't come and acknowledge those fans who travel far as kilometers, even sneer. Classic gaming, I think you're being a little too positive about European players because some of them, not every after every loss, they will do it. You know, so therefore that's a reality, and yeah, again, this is something we have created some of the players have become too big stars. They've become too big stars on social media, and criticism is something which I think anybody and everybody will try and avoid in life. And this is what the players are doing. You know, is it right? Is it wrong? No, of course it's wrong. But to me, it's very, very clear that we need to find means and ways of, how a level playing field and the interaction is there, and that's not going to happen. Malikarjun, winners write the history, so how you won doesn't even matter. And Malikarjun, that's the sad part. You know, the best team in sort of in so-called finals, not always the best team wins, or in finals, not always the best team is playing the finals. But that's why I say leagues are more honest when it comes to finding out who is the winner or not. Kumar, and I'm saying that because after this worst and horrible performance they've seen our customer matches, Denmark is doing meditation. What can I say for the no words? Yeah, okay, that's your observation. What do you think will be the excuse of Igor Stumich if unfortunately we lose and he loses his position? Will accept that he wasn't good enough? I don't know what he'll say. Again, I can't look into the head or the brain of the national team coach. The only thing that I can say is that we are in a situation where we need to find solutions to our problems. And certain people will say, listen, he did well in those 5 years, and certain people will say he didn't. I belong to the people who say we've lost 5 years under this coach. The first year was good. The first year pre-COVID was good, but after that, despite all what has been said and shown, I don't think it has been a successful stint for the national coach. And even if we qualify for round 3, to me, it's not been a successful stint. And but again, who's going to take that call? That's the problem with the federation. Shreyam, hi, welcome back. Consider ranking of football is talked and discussed very much. It's also reality in the history of football. Shem, yeah, it's and the problem is who are talking and what kind of a difference can they make, right? It's nice for people to have a discussion on social media or here on a YouTube platform and then talk about things, but what difference can people make, right? Most of the people who are talking cannot make a difference. I can proudly say that I've tried to make difference. I know what I've done over the last 25, 26 years, small little changes, and I know if I didn't try and help where I did, things would be much worse. And again, you think that we are at the lowest point. We could go even lower, and that's the scary part of these kind of things. And not just that, this or that, whole system is corrupt and failed. I think we overthink, overhype players and coach. AFC Asian Cup is clear that we live in delusion. Simple. That's MD Gaming. That's our biggest problem, that we needed to realize during the Asian Cup, that we were simply not good enough. And people were thinking about putting points, this and that. And I said, our simple aim at this competition needs to be get one goal, and even that we failed. So that's the reality of where we stand, right? That's the reality of where Indian football stands at the moment. It's disappointing, it's hard, it's brutal, but that's where we stand. And therefore, for me, it's a very, very, very tough situation, and therefore, hopefully, as I said, things will change. But I don't know if things will change in the short term, but some things will hopefully change in the long term. 1 hour 45 minutes, guys. Once again, thanks a lot for this longer session, talking about and again, I'm not talking about the fans, but yeah, officials should be working as strong we are. Again, Shyam, that's another story. Are we really geopolitically as strong as we think we are? We can talk about that. And I heard that European and other Asian football influences laugh on us. Our image outside of India nowadays is not so good. I mean, that stereotype that you face and trouble in Germany. Classic gaming people have been laughing about us for the last 26 years since I've been doing Indian football. So it's nothing new. For you, it might be new. For Indian football, So for us, we are where we are, and we deserve what we get at the end of the day. The system is not better. And that's something which is reality. So do I face trouble? Yeah, people laugh about that, and then tell me, why do you bother about Indian football? Work in other areas where you have expertise, and I've done it. I've tried to do my little, as I say, my little bits and pieces to help and support Indian football, and I always do that, right? But again, very often that help has not been wanted, and people know, and I know certain people within India think that I'm not who I am, or that I can do things. I know what I've done. And I know what I can judge most people who are working in football and give an opinion on that, which a lot of people do, but they don't know. So that's the reality. We have a top movement. Again, they're not going to remove it. This is just a meeting and they're talking about it, but I don't see any league removing it. When you take fame, you should also take criticism. You only want flowers, but you will get stoned also in football. Kumar, again, as I said, this is the reality of life. People like fame, but they don't like the criticism, or they don't like, again, abuse. It gets personal, right? Again, and this is something also, blame is fine. I feel if people have done something wrong, blame them, but be in the arguments. But it becomes hate speech. It could become racist. It become misogynistic, whatever. That's the problem, right? I try to criticize people in the way that I think they do things wrong, and when they do things right, I praise them also. That's don't cross those barriers, those borders. If we lose in school and they have not taken any actions, I'm done. I'm just done. Let's see. I think there will something will most probably happen. Players not ready to accept that that's the problem. Brand, that surely is. But also on the other side, I think there's an overreach of fans. Fans are, of course, invested into it. But if someone doesn't perform and you abuse them, be it in a stadium or be it outside, does the player deserve that as well? So therefore, there is an overreach on that side. And again, the one side wants the positives, and the other side is left behind with the positives and the negatives. That's the reality. So therefore, yeah, that's the challenge that you have in Indian football, and yeah, it's I guess it's not easy. So once again, hey, nearly 1 hour 50 now. Thanks again for this longer chat. So therefore, to me, so what's the take on cartoon done by German media? So when you launch a row on the moon and South Pole, you don't want to talk about Kumar. Again, that's your take. Again, I have a different narrative in regard to, because I'm born and brought up in this narrative, and I think a lot of things you can criticize the Western world on a lot of things. But again, as I said to you the other day, I'd rather take the Western narrative than an Indian or a Chinese or a Russian or whatever narrative. Yeah, and so therefore, to me, if what was the question asked? But the Germans asked, India is unable to feed its people, but it's sending stuff on the moon. It's, I think, a very valid question that needs to be asked. But in India, no one will ask this question. So therefore, German narrative, right? Period. So therefore, yeah, take it or leave it. I guess that's the situation. Sorry, guys. I will not be taking any more questions. We've got a friendly coming up in a little while, Germany versus Ukraine. So I want to watch that as well. Thanks a lot for joining in today. Those of you who have not, please subscribe to the channel. Please join in. Leave your comments. I thank you for the support. Again, like, subscribe here, but subscribe on my other arunfoot channels across all social medias, and of course arunfoot.com. I'll be back tomorrow and hopefully see you then soon. And again, tomorrow, India, Uzbekistan on one side, and on the other side, on the women's game, and of course, slowly building up to India versus Kuwait. Good night, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.